True crime news and stories that hit the news are often so horrific and just brutal. And this is one of those, just a fair warning. Anyone out there before we continue on. And some people often even wonder why I give any of this stuff any news coverage. But to be honest with you, you got to face the truth of what's out there. It can be exhausting, it can be heartbreaking, but this kind of evil lurks out in the world. And sometimes, as you see in this story, right within someone that's supposed to be a loved one. This isn't anything new. Not at all by a long shot, but there is always something to take from this horrific news. And with this terrible story, I would say it would be to speak out if you see something. So often when youth are hurt, like in this situation, you wonder, how did not anyone see the warnings? How didn't anyone help this innocent child? Like speak out if you see something. Like I've seen a lot of situations where people call CPS on each other to play into immature beefs and stuff like that. And it's not a game. It's a serious thing. If you see something really going on, if you know something really isn't right, speak out, call the authorities. CPS isn't for play. It's not games. It's not a revenge tactic. And I can't stress that enough. Now, if you haven't heard this monster, Shawna Hooey, 50 years old in Texas, Harris County, was sentenced to 50 years. She has to serve at least half of that before she's eligible for parole. And you see the family of this sweet baby girl who was killed by this monster calling her out at the trial that went on 9 days that it took for the jury to convict her, telling her, "You're not the victim, you sick, evil, demented fluck." They didn't say all that, but I'm saying it. Now, the prosecutor and court authorities, the prosecutors and all that, they spoke out and put out a message saying, "We have to work together as a community to protect our children who are particularly vulnerable to abuse from violent adults. We are thankful to the jurors who recognize that this was not a single incident, but a pattern of abuse, and rightfully sentenced this woman to spend decades behind bars." And that's something that you're going to see. This woman tried to lie and make up stories when she brought this baby to the hospital or ER. It sounds kind of like a urgent care center. She tried to come and tell all these lies and this BS, saying the kid threw herself into a toilet paper holder. She threw herself into a doorknob. She was just fine days before. She woke up and was breathing funny, and she immediately brought her in, and just all BS. And witnesses that were around this child the day before went to court, showed up and said that's BS. The kid wasn't in any distress before. And this girl, was her boyfriend's child that she killed. And as you see, the healthcare professionals also spoke out, as they say that at times they call CPS as they should. But this kid, I guess, often wore long sleeve shirts in the middle of summer to cover up the bruises. It says further examination showed that the girl had signs of repeated past abuse, including injuries that were fresh, some that were resolving, and others that were healed. An autopsy showed that she died from blunt force trauma to the head. The injury that killed her would have resulted in seizures, vomiting, and dazed reactions almost immediately. Like, it's just so sick to think about. And so often these evil pieces of garbage that hurt these kids, that is often the cause of death. Blunt force trauma to the head. Who could do that to a child? And this woman had 4 kids of her own. She was dating this guy that had sole custody of his daughter, and he was grinding, trying to survive, work nights prior to moving in with this Shawna Hooey, this evil monster. He lived with his family and basically was working all the time. So prior to being with her, his family was always watching her. I don't know how long they were together, but she was watching the child all the time. And a lot of people probably wonder, and I myself wonder, how did the father not see anything wrong with this 4-year-old child. When I'm saying this, I'm not trying to condemn the father or anything. I'm just truly wondering. That's what I'm saying. You got to be observant of everything, of your community, of your own family, everything like that. It's just absolutely terrible. And, the other big lesson here is don't be in a rush to date people. So many people I see, they're looking for love. They're on these social media apps looking for a new girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, significant other. And it's like, you really got to know someone before you share a home with them. Like real talk, man, not to sound super old school, because a lot of the new school stuff is more open-minded than things were back in the days. And that's good in a lot of instances. But when it comes to being in a serious relationship, sharing a home with someone, you don't just quick and shack up with someone. Like so often people are just trying to get by, like we said with his dad, working full times, working nights, living with his family, then moving in with this girl. I wonder if that played a factor at all, the financial side of things, moving in with this girl. I don't know. Who knows, but be observant, everyone, and watch who you let in your life, man. Don't let some booty call become a serious relationship just because it seems to be convenient. And some of the family members spoke out at the sentencing saying, my niece was barely 30 pounds. So how could she cause deep bruising in her head and make her spine come attached to her body? Can you believe that, guys? That's almost unspeakable to read or to think about. She abused this child to the point that her spinal cord detached from her body. And again, the prosecutors were thankful that they were able to prove that this was not a one-time incident, that this was a pattern of abuse. Again, there was multiple injuries over this child's body in different stages of healing. And again, it really just makes me wonder about the father. Was this guy just working all the time? I've done the night shift thing. Sometimes I like it, sometimes not. It's like living in a different world, a different planet. When you're sleeping, everyone's awake. When everyone else is sleeping, you're at work grinding. You basically are living on another planet. Someone else said it's hard. For 4 years, it's been just miserable. That was the girl's grandmother. And again, man, it says this is also from the assistant district attorney said, often that child abusers often work to hide signs of abuse by keeping children away from other adults or dressing them to cover the injuries. And that goes back into what we were speaking about the child having long sleeves on in the middle of the summer. And I believe, CPS said, child abuse does happen. And when we see it, we need to call it out and notify the police and CPS. So that wasn't CPS. I believe this was from the this actually is the district attorney as well. They said this girl was wearing long sleeves in the summertime, and if someone had noticed her injuries and intervened, she would probably still be here today. And that goes back to what we were saying about CPS. People that play those immature games, calling CPS to try to, vindictively ruin someone's life or fuck with them in some kind of little punk ass beef. Not only is that foul as fuck what you're doing and dirty as hell to try to put false allegations like that on someone, but you're also jamming up the system with BS complaints where the authorities, the powers that be in the CPS realm could be out there, helping people that are really in need, like this innocent baby angel, this baby girl that is no longer here because of this evil demon, man. So with all that being said, and as I stated on the intro to this video, this stuff is grisly to talk about, but we got to be aware of what's going on. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we learn different things throughout life, you know what I'm saying? And different life experiences and things. But a lot of us, we're trying to get by. We're living life. We're working. We got stuff going on. And sometimes you can let your guard down about certain things or forget about certain things. In a story like this, can wake everyone back up, you know? So jump in the comments. Let me know what you think about this all. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more true crime content. And again, watch out for yourself, your family, your loved ones, nieces, cousins, everyone, nephews, your neighbors, anything you see going on, and you really know something's going on. Again, this ain't for games. Speak out. You could save a life. And again, watch who you date. Get to know someone first. This woman had 4 of her own children or 5 of her own children, and ended up being the main caretaker of this guy who I don't even know how he can go on anymore. Like I'm a father, you know what I mean? And I had a situation where I had a child almost pass away, not from anything like this, from a horrible accident. And thank God my baby girl is okay, but it was touch and go at one point in time. We didn't know what was going to happen. And just even that feeling of possibly losing my child, like I can't even fathom what it's like to really actually have that happen for a parent to bury a child. I don't know how one carries on, man. Be safe, everyone. Stay blessed. Get right. Get focused. Like I've been saying in my other videos, it's wild times we're living on, man. No cap. These are the END times. I'm not lying. The signs is all around. Demons are out there. Catch you on the next video. Stay safe and stay blessed.